The issue regarding Lewis Hamilton's contract never seems to end. The Formula One star laid out his demands, and the Silver Arrows have disregarded them. As someone who has had such an illustrious career, do you think he deserves this kind of treatment? Let's take a look at what he's asking from Mercedes in today's video. In a drama-filled contract negotiation full of surprises, it appears that Mercedes has turned down Lewis Hamilton's whopping £55 million annual contract demands. This has sparked new doubts and uncertainty regarding the future of the 7-time Formula One world champion. Only a week ago, it seemed like the Hamilton-Mercedes contract saga was finally coming to a highly pleasing end for both parties. Mercedes team principal Toto Wolff confidently expressed that it is going to happen soon, and we are talking more days than weeks. Lewis Hamilton was set to put pen to paper on an unprecedented £55 million deal, which appeared to be a win-win situation for everyone involved. Hamilton would secure his place on the grid for the long haul, driving a competitive car while raking in a substantial sum. Meanwhile, Mercedes would retain the services of the greatest Formula One driver ever, ensuring the continuation of their immensely successful partnership. Unfortunately, the deal has encountered an unforeseen obstacle. At 38 years old, Lewis Hamilton is currently the second oldest driver on the grid, trailing only behind Fernando Alonso of Aston Martin. Despite his sustained peak performance and relentless pursuit of an 8th world title, reports suggest that the British champion is seeking additional guarantees regarding his future in the sport. Going beyond his presence on the grid, Hamilton has allegedly requested a 10-year ambassadorial role with Mercedes, which could amount to £20 million per year. But Mercedes has promptly turned down this proposition. In the past decade, Lewis Hamilton has experienced an incredibly successful period in Formula One since joining Mercedes in 2013. Throughout this period, he has clinched 6 world champion titles, matching the record previously held by the legendary Michael Schumacher. Additionally, Hamilton has played a pivotal role in securing 8 Constructors' Championships for Mercedes, an achievement unmatched by any other driver in history. However, with Hamilton's current contract worth £27.5 million per year set to expire in 2024, the future of this remarkable partnership hangs in the balance. Ahead of the Canadian Grand Prix, Hamilton appeared elusive when discussing the specifics of his future, stating, "We had a good meeting just recently. They're very complex contracts, so it's not just a simple driving contract. We've talked several times, we have a great relationship. It will get done when it's done. If that's next week, in a month's time, as long as it's done, I'm not really bothered. I can't tell you what I'm trying to put in my contract, but right now I'm focused mostly on planning to be here racing for still a decent chunk of time. You've just got to explore all avenues in the sense of how you can continue to expand your partnership with such a great organisation. And it's not just as easy as, hey, let's just go ahead. I don't have to be in a rush." This could potentially be a minor hurdle in Mercedes' ultimate goal of re-signing the greatest driver to have ever represented their team. But only time will tell what's in store for the Silver Arrows. But is Hamilton's steep asking price justified? According to one pundit, it is. According to Damon Hill, Lewis Hamilton is in possession of the finest racecraft among the 3 multiple world champions currently competing in Formula One. In the recent Canadian Grand Prix, Hamilton secured a spot on the podium alongside Max Verstappen and Fernando Alonso. This marked the second occasion this season where these 3 accomplished champions shared the top 3 positions. In a discussion focusing on the 3 drivers and their respective qualities, Damon Hill, the 1996 world champion, expressed his views on their comparisons. Hill believes that Max Verstappen exhibits the most raw speed as he demonstrates a willingness to push the boundaries and venture into high-risk situations. Fernando Alonso, on the other hand, possesses exceptional awareness of his surroundings on the track. However, when it comes to overall racing approach and its impact on on-track performance, Hill believes that Lewis Hamilton currently holds an advantage over his rivals. He shared his perspective during an episode of the F1 Nation podcast when asked about which of the 3 world champions on the grid exhibits the best racecraft, saying, "I think it's Lewis." Although podcast host Tom Clarkson held a different viewpoint, arguing that Fernando Alonso possesses the best racecraft, Hill elaborated on why he leaned towards Hamilton, emphasizing that Hamilton's approach to racing and its translation into on-track results played a significant role in his decision. He further elaborated, "Lewis probably works with his engineers very effectively, whereas Fernando can probably do it without his engineers, or he tells the engineers what to do rather than the other way around. And he manages to fit in a few sort of clever comments in the process as well, while he's got other things to do. I take your point about Fernando and racecraft, but I'm just going to go back to Lewis again. I think the thing is with Lewis is that in a race, he's able to produce stunning laps when he needs to. I don't know Fernando's still got that ability to do that. So if you say to Lewis, we've got a target and this is it, he manages to pull it out somehow. Considering all the factors and comparisons discussed, Damon Hill expressed his support for the reigning world champion and current championship leader as the driver to bet on at present. Hill's analysis of the overall performance and current form led him to back Lewis Hamilton as the most favourable choice. He explained, I think if you're going to do this comparing drivers, you have to say, okay, we haven't seen the full extent of Max's career. Not that I have any doubts about it at all. But you know, we've seen what Fernando can do over many years, nearly decades, and Lewis as well. So when you try and compare drivers like this, you have to say currently where we're at, you'd put your money on Max, wouldn't you? Because he seems to have all the ingredients and he's got a bright future ahead of him. Whereas the others are, whichever way you cut it, they're past the middle of their career. They've done the bulk of their work, and so they're slightly different characters or in a different phase of their development. But yeah, Max has got it. Other people seem to share the same sentiment. Former F1 driver David Coulthard thinks that Lewis Hamilton has managed to regain the upper hand against George Russell at Mercedes. Hamilton, a 7-time world champion, experienced his first winless season in his 16-year Formula One career last year, while his teammate Russell secured Mercedes' sole victory at the Sao Paulo Grand Prix. Additionally, Russell finished ahead of Hamilton in the drivers' standings in their first season together. The new campaign has also started with a similar trend, but Coulthard believes that Hamilton has turned the tide and regained the advantage over Russell at Mercedes. Lewis Hamilton has achieved more podium finishes for Mercedes and currently holds a higher position in the championship standings. Coulthard shared his perspective on the Formula for Success podcast, stating, "We gave warning of be careful of getting ahead of yourself because Lewis, when he's on form, is a formidable teammate. We've definitely seen a turning of the tide. In terms of Lewis is looking pretty sharp. There's this spring in his voice when he's talking to the team." Eddie Jordan chimed in the conversation, saying, "I was super concerned about Russell. However, George has absolutely surpassed everything I thought he could be, and he is a brilliant potential future world champion. If he is in the right position and the right car, he has got everything. Lewis has upped his game, however. He's found his mojo again. He drove a good tactical race in Canada, giving the car the best chance. I think it is encouraging what we're seeing at Mercedes, but they still have a bit to catch up with the Aston Martin, which still looks very strong, and the Red Bull. But I don't see the Red Bull suffering in the future. I think the championship is over, sad to say, but that's what I think. I don't see anyone touching Max Verstappen. No one can deny that Lewis Hamilton is a mega driver, and one that is certainly worth a lot of money. But is he asking for too much? Tell us what you think in the comment section down below. And as always, don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't. Thanks for watching.